अस्त्युत्तरस्यां दिशि देवतात्मा हिमालयो नाम नगाधिराजः पूर्वापरौ तोयनिधिवगाह्य स्थितः पृथिव्या इव मानदण्डः. We finished with this 39th shloka where he just finished with Rati Vilapa. Iti deha vimuktaye sthiram ratim akashabhava saraswati shaparim hrada shosha vihvalam prathama vrishtihi iva anvakampata. So just as how a small fish is struggling in a pond which is completely dried up or almost dried up, in the same way Rati was also struggling to hold on to her body and she wanted to give up her life. At that point, Saraswati or Vak, which flowed from the Akasham, it was like a Prathama Vrishti for the Shapari. So what was the form of that Vak? So the speech is from the next shloka. कुसुमायुध पत्नी दुर्लभः तव भर्ता न चिरात् भविष्यति शृणु येन सकर्मणा गतः शलभत्वं हर लोचनार्चिषि. So anybody would want to see the first form of grief is why is this happening? Everybody wants to know the hetu for this sort of an action that has come about. Yeah, it's very natural. Ellarkum vande we can't keep on saying that oh some purva janma karma ityadikam tu tatra. Yes, it is. Sometimes we don't know what that karma is and all. So this Saraswati is first trying to give that solution. It's also a Devata Swarupam, which is completely gone suddenly. And it has not gone completely. She is trying to say here. So, hey Kusumayudha Patni, Kusumayudhasya Manmathasya Patni, Tava Bharta Chirat Durlabhaha na Bhavishyati. Tava Bharta, your husband, Chirat, within, for a long time, not for a long time, will he be Durlabhaha. Tarhi Shigrameva Sulabhaha Bhavishyati iti. It is not for long that he is going to be difficult to obtain. So, Sulabhaha, it will be easy for you to see him. Shrunu, yena karmana saha shalabhatvam gataha haralochana archishi shalabhatvam gataha. Yena karmana, the action by which he became like a shalabha. Shalabhangardan, the vittil puchi. It's like a moth to the fire. So, a moth, he became like a moth to Hara Lochana Archishi, to the fire that emerged from Shiva's eye. Yena Karmana Tadrisham Gataha. So the action by which he became a moth, Shrunu, Tatu Shrunu, Tat Karma Shrunu. So listen to that words. So Tasyaha Saraswatyaha Prakarameva Aha. This is the format of the words that Akashavani. So Kusumayudha Patni, Kusumayudham Yasya, Kusumam Ayudham Yasya, Tasya Patni. So Kusumayudha Patni, Tasyaha Sambuddho. So Tava Anumarana Udyotaya Aste. Enough. So do not enter into, following him up with this maranam. I know you are Kusumayudha Patni. You are Manmatha's Patni. There is no doubt about it. You don't need to prove yourself by Anumaranam. Yeah. So she addresses him. You are his Patni and you will remain like that. Don't worry. Your husband will immediately come and join you. Bharta Kantaha Chirat Keshuchit Kaleshu Atiteshu, within some time, when just some time is gone, Atiteshu, Durlabhaha, Dukkhena Labhyaha na Bhavishyati. It will not be difficult to attain him. Durlabhaha. So Durlabhaha na difficult to attain. Na Bhavishyati. So double negative, which means Sulabhaha eva Bhavishyati. It will be easy to attain him. That is, it will be easy to see him. Nanu Bhavishyati iti uktimatrena kahanischayaha ityashankya. What is the guarantee that he will definitely appear? Iti ashanka vartate. How can you definitely say that Manmatha will appear? Nasha hetum utpattim cha pratipadayitu kamaha nasha hetum adau avatarayati. Now there is a reason for his death and there is destruction, and there will be a reason for him to come up again, for him to be born again. So listen to the reason for destruction first. In the following shloka, she will say how he is going to come about again. So, Shrunu, इत्यादिना सः येन कर्मणा हरलोचन अर्चिषि शलभत्वं गतः तत् शृणु सः कामः येन कर्मणा यादृशेन कर्मणा by which action हरलोचन अर्चिषि हरस्य लोचनं हरलोचने विद्यमानम् अर्चिः the archi or the fire which is present in the eyes of Parameshwara archihi tejaha haralochana agnau shalabhatvam patanga bhavam patanga is also that moth vittil puchingro he took on the form of a moth like how a moth gets attracted towards the light of that fire and then it falls into it without its understanding yeah तत्कर्म शृणु यस्य कर्मणः परिपाकवशात् मदनः भस्मसात् भूतः तत्कर्म आकर्णय so listen to the action because of which he was reduced to ashes okay simple fairly simple shloka this is kusumayudha patni durlabhas tava bharta na chirad bhavishyati shrunu yena sakarmana gatah shalabhatvam haralochana archishi okay. Now she talks of the earlier incident. Abhilasham udiritendriyaha swasutayam akarot prajapatihi adhatena nigrihya vikriyam abhishaptaha phalametad anvabhut. I think last time I coded it to I just showed you a little bit. Abhilasham udirita indriyaha prajapatihi swasutayam akarot. Prajapatihi Brahma. Brahma created Saraswati or Sandhya and swasutayam eva udirita indriyaha, his indriyas being kindled, being preritam, udiritam. Abhilasham akarot. He had a kama interest towards his own daughter, that is his own creation of Sandhya. Atha tena vikriyam nigrihya. After a few moments, he controlled his own transformation, vikriya, his own parinama, manaf parinamam, and abhishaptaha tena vikriyam nigrihya tena abhishaptaha. So Prajapati controlled his vikriya, his transformation, and Prajapatina eva manmathaha abhishaptaha. He was cursed by Prajapati. Etat phalam anvabhut. Being cursed by Prajapati, he experienced this sort of a reaction for that. This is the result of that curse. So tadeva karma aha Prajapatihi swasutayam abhilasham akarot. Prajapatihi Brahma swasutayam, swasya sutayam saraswatyam abhilasham upabhoga ichham, in order to enjoy, that lustful approach he had. So Brahma srishti samaye saraswatim nirmaya, he having created Saraswati, tad rupa lavanya darshana mohitaha, being mohita, he was completely taken over by her beauty. Upabhoga akanksham vyadhat, also showed that he had an interest towards her. Nanu atra kamasya kaha aparadhaha. So what is the fault of Manmatha here? It was Brahma who was at fault. So this is udiritani sankshobhitani indriyani yasya. His indriyas were completely disturbed because of something else. That is because of Kama or Manmatha. So atra udirita iti nicha. Nich is causal. Manmatha becomes the prayojaka karta there. So kamasya prayojakatvam avyabhicharat, it cannot be denied. So you cannot deny the fact that Manmatha was the prayojaka, or he was the responsible person to instigate Brahma's indriyas.
Arthataha, to incite the indriyas.
Insight. Correct. அதுதான் இன்சைட்னா கரெக்டா மூட்டி விடுறதும்போ தமிழ்ல, அதுதான் அந்த உதீரிதங்கிறதுக்கு. आयात् एव अर्थतः एव आयाति शब्दतः प्रयोग अभावः. कामः एव तत्र प्रयोजकः इति श्लोके नास्ति, किन्तु उदीरित इति निच्छन्तेन तत्र अन्यः कश्चन प्रयोजकः भवितव्यः एव इति कारणात् तत्र शब्दतः प्रयोग अभावः. There is no word kama as such, but you understand by the nijantam. Nahi kamena vina kaschidapi indriya sankshoභakrit bhavati. Without Manmatha, there can be no one who disturbs the indriyas or incites the indriyas. Yeah. So ayameva kamasya aparadhaha. This was his mistake. or his crime. Nanu tadrisham karma katham idrisham phalam ajanayat. If he had incited Brahma, how can that result in his destruction? So there must be another cause for it. What is that? Athatena vikriyam nigrihya abhishaptaha etat phalam anvabhut. Atha indriya kshobhanantaram. After that, the inciting of indriyas, yeah. Adikapro tena prajapatina vikriyam indriya vikaram nigrihya parihritya. He controlled his indriyas. Indriya kshobha samaye shapa anupapattehe. So as you're under the influence of the indriyas, you will not be thinking of cursing Manmatha. It's only after you pull back your indriyas that you will think about the cause, and you will even when Shiva harastu kinchit parivritta dairyaha umamukhe bimbapaladaroshe vyaparayamasa vilochanani ityasti. So he also looked at Umamukhe bimbapala adhara oshte. He looked at her lips, which were so inviting that way. But at that moment he was not sure. He was not looking at the hetu there. Immediately then he pulled back his indriyas and started looking at the directions for who is the cause. So indriya kshobha samaye, at the time of that vikara, the transformation or whatever chanchalam that happens in your mind, shapa anupapattehe, shapa cannot happen. So tan nigraha kathanam. That is why he says vikriyam nigrihya iti in the second line. Abhishaptaha hara kopagnihi tvam dahatu iti shaptaha. I don't know where this part exists, but then he was just given a shapa. That much is clear in Puranas. But what kind of a shapam it could be, it may be in other Puranas. I don't know. So tatha bhuta sanna etat harakopa anala daharupam idam phalam anvabhut anubhutavan. So abhishaptaha sanna kamaha, being cursed in this manner, Manmatha enjoyed this sort of a fruit. He had to undergo this kind of a result, which is harakopa anala daha, being burnt by the kopagni, anger, fire of anger by Shiva. Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying that I don't know where it is, which Purana?
So, idla vandu enna, Kale gives a notes where he says, he describes this part. Inge parango. This section is from Kalika Puranam actually. So I found, he says it is as quoted by Mr. Deshpande or something like this. But then I found these lines in Kalika Puranam. So Brahmapi tanayam sandhyam drishtva purvam atha atmanaha kamaya ashu manaschakre tyaktva buddhim suteti vai. Suta iti buddhim tyaktva. Having let go of the fact that she is his daughter, Ashu kamaya manaschakre, he immediately felt that lust in his mind after seeing Sandhya drishtva. Tasyaha chalitam chittam kama bana vilodhitam rishinam prekshatam tesham manasanam mahatmanam. There were several rishis who were present there when he had created Sandhya. And when all of those rishis were present, tesham prekshatam satam, it is an anadara shashti. Not even considering the fact that there were such great mahatmanam, manasanam, rishinam, manasa rishis. I think it is Sanat Kumaradi. So Manasa Putras, right? So when the Manasa rishis were all present there, without even looking at them, he started feeling this mind. Tasyaha api chittam kama viloditam asit. Sandhya was also actually feeling that towards Brahma there. So then bhargasya vachanam shrutva sopahasam vidhim prati. So upahasam vidhim prati bhargasya vachanam shrutva. Bhargaha here refers to Shiva. Parameshwara was also present at that time, and he ridicules Brahma at that point of time. So listening to those ridicule, also words of ridicule, atmanaha chalachittatvam amaryadam rishin prati. So the words of Shiva were such that he said, how can you atmanaha chala chittatvam, how can you have such a fickle mind? And he also says amaryadam rishin prati, you do not have a maryada towards the rishis here who are standing there. Tadapi uddishya eva tatra upahasam akarot parameshwaraha. कामस्य तादृशं भावं मुनि मोहकरं तदा दृष्ट्वा संध्या स्वयं तत्र त्रपाम आप अति दुःखिता. So कामस्य एव तादृशं भावं, it is also muni mohakaram, it is something that can delude even a person with a great mind. मननशीलः यः वर्तते तस्यापि मोहकरं भवति इत्येव खलु. So दृष्ट्वा तत् सन्ध्या अपि स्वयं अतिदुःखिता अभूत्. She also became very upset about the whole thing. ततः ब्रह्मणा शप्ते मदने तदनन्तरं. So Brahma just curses Manmatha and Manmatha vanishes, and Parameshwara also goes back to Kailasa. That is all is given there. Then he describes Sandhya takes on Dhyanapara Abhavat, Amarsha Vasham Apanna Sandhya Dhyanapara Abhavat iti asti. So then she takes on a Dhyana Murti. She is the personification of Dhyana. Then her Dhyana Murti is also described in a next shloka. So there is no there is nothing mentioned as to what is the form of the Shapam that happened there. That's what I'm saying. So this is one story. The other story is, yeah, so that's what I said, which Purana has, probably Shiva Puranam has that particular Shapam that you will be destroyed by Parameshwara's
I was going
Agni.
to Shiva Purana actually. Adula irukku romba clear, there are chapters, I haven't read them. Romba clear Sandhya Patti and the chapter, I said, oh.
Correct, we should read that then. Yeah. So innun, of course, that Mrigashira Nakshatra story is also there. That you know, yeah. So in the English la the potrikar, he is not given the Sanskritam version. So according to another version, Sandhya, on seeing her father, she, affected by the passion, assumed. So he is also very passionate and he tries to follow her. So she takes on the form of a female deer. Brahma also takes on the form of a deer. Shiva, when he sees this incident that Brahma is following Sandhya, he cuts off Brahma's head. Adudan solrom. Brahma had 5 heads and killidrar oru ida, and that is the kapalam in the hand of Parameshwara iti. Tasmadeva saha kapali iti tasya nama. What is that kapalam that he has? The kapalam is actually Brahma kapalam. Brahmanaha panchamasya shirasaha kapalameva tatra kapalatvena saha bhikshatanam karoti iti. So bhikshatanam roopam onnu undu. இதுல வந்து பிச்சாண்டவர்னா பிச்சாண்டின்னு ஒரு ஊர்வலம் உண்டு. பிக்ஷாண்டவர்னு there is one form where he takes and he goes, asks for annam, and Annapurna gives him food. அதுதான் அங்க the whole story of பிக்ஷாண்டவருக்கும் அன்னபூர்ணாவும். அது அந்த கபாலம் வந்து is Brahma kapalam. So with this he cuts off, and with the head part becomes a constellation. That is the Mrigashiras. Mrigashirsam சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, அதுதான் இது. அதுக்கு பின்னாடி ஃபாலோ பண்ற கான்ஸ்டலேஷன் இஸ் சிவா வித் ஹிஸ் போ. ஸோ இட் இஸ் த ஹண்டர் அண்ட் த போ அண்ட் த டியர்னுட்டு ஒரு கான்ஸ்டலேஷன் இருக்கு. They call it that in the English version, Latin version. So the hunter and the bow is Shiva with his pinakam. Ardra. That is the Ardra constellation. புராணம்லாம் வந்து ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கா இருக்கும் இந்த மாதிரி கதைகள்லாம். So what we see, they have weaved a story behind the whole thing very beautifully. अभिलाषम् उदीरितेन्द्रियः स्वसुतायाम् अकरोत् प्रजापतिः अथ तेन निगृह्य विक्रियाम् अभिशप्तः फलम् एतत् अन्वभूत्. ஆர்திரானாலும் வெட்டுன்னு அர்த்தம். ஆர்திர கபாலம்னு ஒண்ணு உண்டு. அதாவது ஆர்திர கபாலீஸ்வரர்னு ஒரு பேரு. இதுல ஈரோடு இருக்குல்ல, ஈரோடுங்கிறது ஈர ஓடு. ஓடுன்னா கபாலம், ஈரம்னா வெட். சோ ஆர்திர கபாலீஸ்வரஹா இத்தியர்த்தா. அதனாலதான் ஆர்திரா நட்சத்திரம்னு வருது. இதெல்லாம் வந்து எத்தனை இன்டர் ரிலேட்டடா இருக்குன்னு புரியல. Now when will he regain his body? So Manmatha's reason தெரிஞ்சுடுத்து. The reason for his daham is known. Now when is he going to regain his body? Parineshyati parvatim yada tapasa tat pravaneekritaha haraha upalabdha sukhaha tada smaram vapusha swena samagrayishyati. So yada parvatim tapasa tat pravaneekritaha haraha. So tat pravaneekarana tapasa pravaneekritaha. So being attracted or being pulled by her tapas, not by her body. So she saw that she could not attract Shiva with her beauty. So she had to attract him through other ways, which is showing her sincerity in the form of tapas. So tapasa tat pravaneekritaha, being pulled by her, haraha manmatha Shiva is going to marry Parvati. Parvatim parineshyati yada, when he will marry Parvati, tada eva upalabdha sukhaha saha parameshwaraha, he will get back his that sukham. He had lost his sukham when Sati was gone, and then he gets it back only when he marries Parvati, or when that desire comes in his mind to marry her, right? So upalabdha sukhaha, having gotten back his happiness, swena vapusha smaram samagrayishyati, with his own body or with his own shakti amsham, he will complete smara. Samagram karoti samagrayishyati, so he will make him complete. So madanasya pratyapattau api hetum aha, there is a reason for him to come back also. When will he come back? Haraha parvatim tapasa tat pravaneekritaha yada parineshyati tada upalabdha sukhaha smaram swena vapusha samagrayishyati. Anvayaha. So haraha mahadevaha tapasa parvati kritena bahuprakarena tapasa kartrabhutena bahuprakarena, because she will do meditation, panchagni tapas, aparna iti parna rahita api tatra upavasa rupena api. So all kinds of tapas she does in that time period. So tat pravaneekritaha, tasyaha parvatyaha pravaneekritaha prahvikritaha. Pravanam here he takes it as namra bhava, yalagarduங்கிறோம் இல்லையா, அதுதான். So he Parvati paratvam prapitaha iti tatparatvam jataha. So he becomes attracted towards her, and he அதாவது ஒருத்தரை குறிச்சு கொஞ்சம் தன்னோட லெவல்ல இருந்து இறங்கி சொல்றதுங்கிறோம் இல்லையா, இறங்கி வந்து நமக்கு அனுகிரகம் பண்றாருங்கிறோம். He comes down from his level, so which is prahva karanam. Prahvam is usually namri bhava, not in the sense of namaskaram or anything. One who lets go of his high position and accepts that yes, Parvati is fit to be my wife, and so I'll have to honor her also. Iti.
So nahi pravaneekritaha verb form enna?
அவனம் அந்த மாதிரி வனங்கிற தாத்துவா இருக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அது யோசிக்கல. வனான்னு ஏதாவது இருக்கணும், நகாரமா இருக்கணும். வன act of begging or request ஒன்னு இருக்கு. vanoti vanutaha vanvanti ite asti. vanita vanitavya pravaneekritaha. பிரவணங்கிறது ஒரு பதம் இருக்கு. சோ அதுல இருந்து உங்களுக்கு நிஜந்தம் வந்திருக்கு வேற.
Okay, okay.
So pravana is also sloping down or bowing down. pravane இருக்கு. prugatau iti asti. pnugatau iti. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought pra was an upasarga.
Oh, then I'm trying to understand. Vanati, I don't know. Parvatyaha pravaneekritaha.
prugatau ityeva asti. pravante. prugatau அதுல வந்து pravate, pravete, pravante ityasti, but that doesn't give me the proper pravate iti pravanahangra. அந்த நான் எங்க இருந்து வந்ததுன்னு தெரியல இல்ல என்ன ப்ரூ இல்லையா ப்ரூங்கிறதுனால பிரவண ல்யூட் கரெக்ட் இங்க பாருங்க கிருதந்தம் ப்ரூங்கிற தாத்து கதௌ ப்ரூங் கதௌ தாத்தௌ சோ கதி தானே இப்ப இதுல வந்து கர்த்தரி பார்த்தேன்னா இட் இஸ் ஒன்லி பிரவதே whereas in kridanta if you go here he gives the lut format which is pravana அதுதான் that's the one here so which means he goes towards her ங்கிற அர்த்தம் so the literal meaning is gatau eva tatra so pravani kritaha ityukte tatparatvam gataha ityeva so he becomes attracted towards her
okay
ama so tatpare namraha nahi tapasa kinchidapi asadhyam tapasa sarvamapi sadhyameva bhavati so it's very easy anena evam bhutam haram prahvi kartum sadhana sampattihi ukta so this is a sadhana sampatti for getting Shiva to look at us tapasa eva tatra shivasya prahva karanam bhavati iti पार्वती तपोवर्णन रूपस्य उत्तर सर्गार्थस्य बिंदु उपक्षेपः पार्वत्याः तपसा एव तत्परत्वं जातः हरः hara becomes attracted towards Parvati because of her tapas so this becomes a bijam for the next sarga it becomes an indicatory upakshepah so it is an indicatory bindu for the next sarga so yada parineshyati ududham karishyati when he marries her tada upalabdha sukha upalabdham jnatam sukham anukulyam he understands he becomes more conducive towards kama sukham so then that feeling of manmatha will automatically be created from his manas so which means he will again have the amsha of Shiva there. That's why Manmatha is one of the prime disciples of Shakti. Shiva Shakti upasanayantu tatra kamaha eva. Adnaldan Kameshwari and the Bindu la irukakudiyvan solrom. The ultimate two people, Shiva Shakti. Asmakam anugunaha eva ayam madanaha iti avagamya upalabdha sukhaha ityasya how the tatparyam that the Vyakhyata takes is Asmakam anugunaha eva ayam madanaha iti avagamya. He understands, Shiva starts understanding that Manmatha is actually anukulam towards me because he has given me Parvati here. Iti tasya manasi kaschana parinamaha api bhavati iti. Tadvishaye, Manmatha vishaye iti. So smaram kamadevam svena vapusha. Tvaya purvam anubhutena sharirena eva. Okay. Svena vapusha. I thought it was Shiva with his own amsha. But here he says with his own body. Svenaiva vapusha iti. So with his own body, Manmatha would be resurrected. Right? So, yatha darshananantaram bhavati bhartaram pratyabhijnasyati tathaiva svenaiva vapusha iti. So, swa iti Manmathasya vapusha samagraishyati sampurnam karishyati. So samagram iva samagraishyati. It's a namadhatu here. Yada parameshwaraha parvati kritaihi tapobihi udbuddha abhilashaha tam parineshyati. When Parameshwara, Udbuddha Abhilashaha, when his desires manifest, Udbuddham Bhavati, when his desire manifests because of the tapas that Parvati does, and he marries her, Tam Parineshyati, Tada Kamaha Ayam Asmakam Anukulaha Eva, Iti Avadharya. He understands that, okay, now Manmatha is actually my friend. I needn't have, burnt him then. He understands later only. It is not then that he understands the greatness of Manmatha there. So, iti avadharya Jagadishwaraha prachineyanaiva sharirena with his earlier form, Madanam yojayishyati. But that will be a form only Rati will be able to see. Others won't be able to see. इति च आह इति उत्तरश्लोकस्य पूर्वार्धे एव अस्य वाक्यस्य परिसमाप्तिः. So with this, the Saraswati vak is over. So you'll have to connect it with the earlier shloka. Iti cha aha Saraswati iti. Okay. So Parineshyati.
Something about Ambal recommending Manmatha's
inga apdi podalla. நமக்கு எப்பவுமே மைண்ட்ல வந்து அப்படிதான் ஒரு இது இல்லையா, காமாட்சி ஓட when we hear the legend of Kamakshi, that's what we remember. பட் அது இங்க அப்படி போடல. சிவனுக்கே அந்த மைண்ட்ல அப்படி இருக்கோன்னு, பட் எல்லா இடத்துலயும் ஆனா if Shivan has to act, Shakti has to come in. இச்சா சக்தி இல்லாத முடியாது. So that இச்சா சக்தி is Ambal. அவ்வளவுதான். परिणेष्यति पार्वतीं यदा तपसा तत् प्रवणीकृतः हरः उपलब्धसुखः तदा स्मरं वपुषा स्वेन समग्रयिष्यति. स्वेन वपुषा. ओके, நான் மாத்தி புரிஞ்சுட்டேன் அத. इति च आह, it concludes with this. इति च आह धर्मचारिणी स्मरशापान्त भवां सरस्वतीं अशनेः अमृतस्य च उभयोः वशिनः च अम्बुधाराः च योनयः. இது ரொம்ப ஒரு மாதிரியா இருக்கு, இதுல சரியாவே இல்லை. ஓகே. इति च आह स धर्मचारिणी सः स्मरशाप अन्त भवां सरस्वतीं अशनेः अमृतस्य. சரி, நான் வந்து இதோட நிறுத்திக்கிறேன்.